I'm trying to get free. When you're with me, I'm feeling
Temptations.
I'm trying to feel free. When you're with
It doesn't get deeper than this.
me, baby, I sleep.
This might change how you see me, or it might change how you see life, or it might change you.
To feel free.
The Bible says bad company corrupts good behavior. I had friends who actively took part in the worldly so-called good behavior. Though I was smart enough to resist it, though it persisted, I insisted. Heavy is the head that wears the crown, but if it's the wrong size, it could behavior. Unknowingly I started mirroring and mimicking, subconsciously recording many things till I became a product. And they became so proud of me, became one of them, not because I wanted it, but because I entertained it, became a part of me equally, yo. I had to own my mistakes. You can't be shifting blame when the fault is equally yours. I was equally yoked, I was equally lost. What you think about the most is what registers in your psyche. It's not always the devil, sometimes it's your own flesh you're fighting. And mostly, temptations are merely what you feed in your soul. Suffocating God's presence till it can barely fit in your soul. The Bible taught me masturbation is a fruit I'm not allowed to block. My friend told me I won't be able to think straight until I empty the tank. So it became a nasty habit with the illusion I must be happy to do it. But every time I masturbated, it didn't help me, it stank. My heart sank, it devoured me. Cause defiling the temple of God is like the worst case of defilement. I was drowning in my own shame. Jesus came in my worst days, he found me. Dug deep in my flesh and liberated, they found me. But again I started indulging in sexual desires when I'm not at the right stage for it. Saying if God doesn't want me to have sex, then why do I feel the urge for it? Just because it's really common now doesn't really make it normal and just. Because it's a generational thing doesn't really make it moral. Going through depression, through the pressure, I was so frustrated. My mind got overwhelmed with lust. I couldn't just see a lady passing by, then my heart would start to spark. This gave me thoughts of sexual immorality so deep a grip it made me seek for prostitutes. In fact, that act would normally make me sick, but a session found one and we arranged to meet. I saw a picture, she was really cute, she was really neat. I realized in time that the steps I'm taking are not what I really need, and somehow go back to my spiritual sense, blessing Jesus in between. This thing is very shameful, I'm embarrassed, I contemplated it. The nastiness got plated by the devil to entice, I'll speak it if it saves. These things happened to me before I could sing the free anthem. I mean, we could have shared a bed with our meat, would have only costed a 300. But God cared, I found peace even though the last battle continued on Facebook. It's harder to stay sane when ladies start to chase you. I really thought that I was a genius, I realized I'm so foolish. It was all up in my flesh and constantly I fought through it. I'm focusing on Yeshua, so I refuse to go through it. It was all up in my face. I thank Yahweh that I saw through it. I'm so true with the things of God now. I stopped to live life in compromise. Just because it says come as you are doesn't mean it says stay as you are. Come to him with all your filthy and godly ways to clean you up. But once he fills you up with his clean spirit, stay holy and lift him up. I understood the concept of temptations when I felt the fighting, the flesh was fighting. I'm just a student in the things of God, but I'm telling you I felt it biting, and so I stopped it with everything it feeds on. Focused my spirit and stopped it with everything it feeds on. And the voice of urgency to sin, well, I could no longer hear it. I'm talking about that point when you feel the flesh separating from your spirit. It's euphoric, you're in control, the flesh follows wherever you steer it. It's a perfect mastery, and feeding on the godly things is how you see it. Temptation fights conformity to authority that God establishes in his people, and the authority you heed is the same authority that wins. The purpose of temptation is rebellion. That's what introduced sin, the nature we all have in billions, and that's the reason the flesh is weak. Now hear this. Temptation fights obedience happened in Eden, resulting in the fall of man. Temptation fights obedience happened to Jesus, resulted in the rise of man. The first created lost God's authority and traded it with that of Satan. The only begotten obeyed, restoring God's authority in us for Satan. So forget the lost fights, the history depicted in your past. Just learn his ways, respect his grace, his faith and trust. You can overcome temptations when you starve the flesh and feed the spirit. Feed the spirit.
I'm trying to get free. When you're with me, I'm feeling I'm trying to